Live from the Export Beer Garden studio and brought to you as always by Export Ultra, the beer for here. This is the Agenda podcast for Wednesday the 13th of November.
Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
Good morning, G Lane.
Good morning.
How's it all going?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Story. Shihad broke up.
Oh, yeah. Do you care?
What was the last song they put out? I can't remember. This is...
I don't know. You know what? I thought they'd broken up ages ago and just get back together and do a New Zealand tour and then go off and do their own thing because that's what they've been doing.
Did we need an announcement?
No, I don't think we did because they kind of go their separate ways for most of the year and then just come back for a tour, play the old bangers.
Yeah. It reminds me, because I saw a lot of people posting it on their story this morning, and it reminds me of when an old actor dies. I'm talking about like in their 90s. And people are like, oh my God.
Donald Sutherland, yeah.
Yeah, it's like so sad. So, was it? What was the last movie? Was he in the middle of something that you really wanted to see, was he? Well, I don't know. The album's still out there. You can still go and listen to be honest, the first couple albums.
I think it was always incoming because ever since Johnny Toogood started kind of dressing and looking like Gandalf, I think the other band members were like, okay, he's going through a midlife crisis here. He's growing his hair down to his bum. He's gone full Lord of the Rings.
Why announce it, though? This is the same thing that I think about athletes, and I've talked to a few that are sort of nearing the end of their careers. And the same thing I say to every single one of them is, you never know when someone's going to throw a massive check at you. Why would you ever retire? If you're a professional athlete, never retire. Why? What do you win?
I'm going to throw it out there. Ticket sales.
What?
I'm just going to throw it out. Ticket sales. Shihad.
What's ticket sales?
Well, they're going to say this is their last ever tour.
Oh, right. Sorry, I'm with you.
So they've announced this is the last one.
Yeah.
And everyone go, oh my God, it's the last year. I gotta go.
I have to go.
And then in 5 years' time, they'll do a reunion tour.
Like the guy that bought the Tom Brady ball.
Yes.
And when he had retired, and then all of a sudden he unretired.
So there you go. I don't.
That's a great shout.
It's
so
marketing.
there's a tour being announced as well. Yeah, no, you've seen through the matrix there. This image is doing the rounds this morning. We need to address it at the top of the podcast. It is an image that was first sent into the Clark's Beach and Waiopā Grapevine, which is basically a community page.
Yes.
It shows the exposed buttocks of a man.
He's got his clubs next to him.
With his golf clubs parked up next to him. He is off the edge of a fairway, it seems, and he is expressing his affections for his partner on the side of the course there.
Now, yeah, this is obviously, and someone's complained on the Facebook page saying, can you just be a bit more subtle? Maybe go make love in the bushes.
Yeah.
But if you look at that image, if I'm looking at it right now, to me it looks like a golfer who's removed his pants, has gone down on his knees and is pulling a brown eye to his mates on the. I can't see any other legs, or is that a leg just poking up on the right there?
I think that's a leg there poking out.
I think it is. I think it is them making love. But initially, first glance, it just looks like a guy on his knees, like almost presenting. But there is another player.
There is another partner.
There's another partner in there. But that's aggressive. It's not even in the rough.
No.
I think that's still in the mourn rough.
Yeah, second cut.
It's in the second cut of the Clark's Beach Golf Club. Look, needs must. There probably no one around. They didn't expect someone to snap him from behind the flax bush there.
No, and again, put the phones away. But the caption read, I've had 24 hours to digest the spectacle on the golf course. Hey, Romeo and Juliet, 7:15 p.m. on a Monday, really? Yeah. I mean, I get the passion, but couldn't they at least pick a slightly more private spot? I love the person that posted this, first of all, anonymous. Second of all, I get the passion. Like, hey,
do you?
I'm out there banging. I'm doing it all the time. I do stuff like this all the time.
I'm a banger.
I doubt it. Like maybe a bush or something. Suppose they were going for the live action nature documentary vibe.
Look,
is that a vibe?
You take it where you can get it, and you never know the backstory here. We don't know if they have been through some troubles. We don't know if he's gone through a massive dry spell or she's gone through a dry spell and they just needed to get one off. We don't know their story.
I'd like to think he just hit a hole in one. And then was like,
yes. What's one way to celebrate a hole in one?
She saw it.
Yeah.
The Facebook and Instagram comments have been the best part of this morning. As soon as it came in, we were just pouring through them. Obviously, a million jokes about the 19th hole.
Yeah.
A lot of jokes about hole in one.
Yeah.
Someone said playing the front nine. I see. Bit of stroke play.
Yeah.
And my favourite, chasing the fucks.
That's good. Let's hope that he chipped in from 100 yards, and as a celebration, his partner was there and said, that's so hot. I want it now.
Yeah, I can't picture. And I just played the round of my life on the weekend, but I was with Jason Hoyt, so. But I can't picture how this would happen. I can't see how they became so inflamed with lust that they were like, "I'm sorry, but we have to do this right here, right now."
The best part of this picture for me, I mean, the bare buttocks is great. He's obviously removed his pants completely, which is a balling move.
Yeah.
But it's the golf clubs that are set on his trundler, just mere kind of couple of feet away from his backside. Like he's taken a shot from just there. He's taken his clubs over, taken his shot, gone down, hammer and tongs. Now he's going to get back up, pull his pants up, and walk off with his trundler.
Yeah.
Or is it a female golfer?
What?
Is he just the recipient on their back might be the golfer?
Oh, right.
There's only one set of clubs.
One set of clubs. So which one of them is golfing? The other thing that I was talking to a long-time listener of the podcast, and he was saying that he plays on this course, and he was trying to figure out what hole it was. He thinks there's a road in the background there, and he thought it was the 6th or 7th hole.
Is that a road? God, is that a road as well?
So then he was saying, well, did they get up and then have to play another 2 or 3 holes? Because I look at that and I'm like, that must be the end of the round, but...
I think it's a great story. Like, how was your round of golf? Awesome. Got one away on the 6th. What?
No, but how did the golf go? Yeah, I don't know. Phenomenal. I'd like to...
Can we find that person?
Yeah, that's
Can we
right.
find that person?
I don't know how you would track them down. If anyone's listening to this and they know the person that it was, put us in touch.
Completely anonymous too. We won't identify the person.
Unless you want to be.
We'll even put their voice through a distorter.
Yeah.
And talk to them. So,
unless you would like to be identified, in which case we will happily do that for you as well. So yeah, get in touch. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and talk a little bit of sport. New Zealand Cup was yesterday, Lane, and the favourite, the prohibitive favourite, mind you, did win it. Swayze wins the New Zealand Cup yet again. They were talking all that shit coming over from Australia about how they were going to win it. Greg O'Connor did say it'd be hard to beat. Did you or do you know anyone who got on Swayze to win it?
I had Swayze in a Quinella.
Yeah, with Merlin.
Yeah.
No.
Didn't come through.
No,
yeah.
Why doesn't the New Zealand Cup stop the nation?
It's because it's harness racing, and I was watching it yesterday, and I sometimes just can't stop laughing because it just looks a little bit ridiculous.
It is a little goofy.
Yeah, it's a goofy. I mean, I'm a thoroughbred man.
Right.
I'm a gallops man, and I'm openly gallops.
Yeah. You're out and proud.
Yeah, I'm out and proud. I mean, it's a great day out in Christchurch. I mean, we reposted the video from a couple of years ago, in which got us kicked out. And people get into it. It's a good time. And I tell you what, there's going to be some absolutely sunburnt, dehydrated units today, waking up with just bright red foreheads, bright red V marks on the front. Not many burnt necks because there was a lot of mullets there. I saw a lot of footage of mullet central.
Sun protection. It's important.
It's sensible.
Yeah. So 2 years ago you went down there, you interviewed a bunch of people. That video, like you said, is back up on the old Instagram, Facebook at the moment. You can go and have a look. And that is why a lot of people keep asking us if we're down there. That's why we're not allowed back down there.
Yeah, look, it's kind of funny, isn't it? It's like the Sevens. It's a big event. Everyone has a drink, has a party, has a good time, but no one's allowed to show that everyone's having a good time and on the piss.
Got to pretend you're not.
Yeah, but it's the trots, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I guarantee over half the people who attended Addington didn't place a bet.
Yep. And more than half of them, that would be the only horse race they saw that year.
Yeah, correct. And it's great. And it should be celebrated. And I think the more you can celebrate that, the better. But it seems to be, you can't promote that. You can't promote, people having a good time.
Yeah.
There was that particular... Basically, my questions on that interview was like, tell us a story. That was it. Yeah. And people would go, okay. And then that particular lady who told me she wasn't wearing any knickers and she wiped herself with her hand and then shook someone's hand. That was shocking.
That was shocking. It was shocking. But I mean, that's not a reason to ban us, No. Did she get banned?
It might have been me berating Jerry Brownlee, trying to get everyone back to his house for a party. That didn't go down that well.
Yeah, fair enough.
I said, everyone follow that cab. Party back at Jerry's. Woo! And he's like, get out of here. You don't follow my car.
Because last year we tried to I was going to go down there and race one of the horses.
Yeah.
And then the I don't know, whoever the powers that be said, no, these guys aren't welcome back here.
Yeah, but then again, did get a call from Addington earlier in the year saying you guys coming down. So I think there's a bit of a change in management there.
Right.
So I think next year, let's go down there and, let's right the wrongs.
They should have, maybe, I mean, it's quite dangerous. We talked about it yesterday, but they should have some sort of like charity race or something like the Black Clash sort of thing, and then just get a bunch of people in the sulkies, and maybe they put them behind ponies instead of full
I think
horses.
so. Yeah, because it looks quite dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're sitting in and if you come off, you've not only got the horse, but you've got the chariot.
Yeah, you're in deep shit if you
like
come
you're getting tangled up in. There's a lot of stuff to get tangled up in. That's all.
It's all the It's all the other carts that are gonna tip you up. But yeah, I reckon that'll be fun. I'd love to have the ACC trots.
Well, I certainly had the trots the day after that.
The NRL, we talked about it yesterday. They were talking about a rule change that would see basically the end of props coming off the back fence off the kickoff. They've come out this morning and said they will not be introducing that rule into the competition this year. Now, two things could have happened. The first is the story came out from a bloke who calls himself the Mole. You've probably heard of him. He's just a guy. Like, he is not he's basically Joel Harrison, the Mole.
Yeah.
And he came out and said that. So either the NRL was never looking at that, or the NRL was looking at that, and then they've seen the backlash on social media and stuff and said, oh, well, actually, if no one wants that, we won't do it. And I think it's the latter. And I just love that from the NRL.
It's sensible.
Rugby union wouldn't do that.
Nah, they would stick to their guns.
Yeah.
They would go, no, it's a player welfare issue. But if NRL go, fucking people love coming off the back fence, let's just keep it.
Yeah, absolutely. That is what people love as well. And so I saw a lot of people got asked about it overnight. Trent Robinson from the Roosters was saying it's a technique issue. They should be harsher on the head highs and bin people and ban them and that kind of thing, but you shouldn't do away with it. First issue is you need to have props in the game. The game's getting faster and faster, so the bodies are getting smaller. A big bumbling prop like Mark Tukey couldn't survive in today's game. So you need to have off the back fence so you can keep those props in the game. The second thing is you got 40 metres to sort your tackling thing out, Yeah. You can't tell me that it's a kickoff issue. You've got that whole run up to get low enough and, make the tackle properly.
Get your head in the right position.
Get your head in the right position. He was saying that's not the issue with the kickoff. And I just love that the NRL look at stuff like this and they're like, oh yeah, no one wants it, sweet, we'll bin it.
Yeah, because it's an opportunity to put a massive shot on as well.
Yeah.
It's not often you line someone up from 40 metres and have a shot. So yeah, I'm glad they've about turned on that.
Yeah, 100%. That this is something that they do so well. Is like, oh, we like this rule. What do the people think? Oh, they want it. Perfect. We'll put it in next week.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't want it. Oh,
yes,
we'll
the
bin
six
it.
again, stuff like that to keep it flowing.
They happen mid-season.
Yeah.
I'm sort of up and down on the six again because I think it benefits the good teams too much. I think it sort of separates the haves and have-nots. And unfortunately for the Warriors, they sort of fall into the second category. Super Rugby team lists were announced yesterday. Do we care?
No. Their big announcements were already made. O'Connor going to the Crusaders and Ardie Savea to Moana. They were the two biggest headlines, and they came out months ago.
So long ago that I'd forgotten Ardie Savea was going to Moana Pacifica.
And James O'Connor, the Justin Bieber of Australian rugby, is going to play for the Crusaders.
For the Crusaders, it's the least Crusaders thing of all time. First of all, you got Luxon coming out saying he's involved in... You
haven't got over that, have you?
No, I haven't. Now we got fucking James O'Connor playing. What is going on? But yeah, you're right. No one cares. And why... We were talking about it in the office this morning. Why did they announce that shit months ago? Why didn't they save up James O'Connor, Ardie Savea, anyone else that they were signing?
And there's no motivation for them to get you in.
Yeah.
So you arrive and you sit there for half an hour.
I always blame...
They'll cancel you if you're not there on time.
I blame the person ahead of me. Every time I go to the doctor and I see the person come out and I'm been waiting for half an hour, I'm like, fuck you.
And I also get angry at everyone that gets called before me, like they've jumped the queue even though they were there before me. But then, so anyway, got another finger in, guys.
Yeah, good.
How'd it go?
She was so apologetic about it.
Oh, yeah.
And that made me feel nervous because I prefer, like, if I'm getting... I prefer if they keep it super clinical. I mean, I've talked before
Are you
about.
saying that? Are you suggesting that it wasn't clinical and it may have been something else?
No. No, but when she starts apologising, it kind of makes it weird. You know?
Right.
It's like, I'm so sorry, but do you mind if I have to check your backside? Do you mind? Sorry. And can you just go behind here? And it's like,
Knees to the chest.
you know,
Roll
it's
onto
like,
your side.
it's like, I don't know why, but the sorry is like, you shouldn't feel sorry. I should feel sorry. Like, yeah, I don't know.
I should be apologising for the state of my backside.
And you always think. I mean, I got the shower head out and really cleaned it out before I went down there, just in case this happens. Because the last thing you want when you're getting a inspection. Have you had one yet? You're probably too young to have had one.
No.
It's coming for you.
I haven't.
Once you have one, though,
Yeah, and
once you pop, you
once you
can't
reach
go.
a certain age, you can't go anywhere near a doctor's clinic without them sticking their finger up
totally.
your butt.
And
You,
it becomes-
you walk past one, and then
They're like-
they run out and finger you. They when you reach a certain age. But
Why back passage? Why
It's
so
a
bad
bit of
passage?
prostate. That's where they check
I
the
had a,
prostate.
I got a
No, but
colonoscopy last year after listening to symptoms, and they found this kind of weird disease
Right.
up there. So I sort of have to. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's not go too far up there. I'm
got
all right.
you've got a
It's just
disease.
it's a disease that's just going to cause me
To get fingered.
get fingered.
Every 6 months.
Yeah, but it's not going to.
Sounds pretty good to me.
It's not going to ultimately affect my health, except for a little bit of constipation, if anyone cares. But I mean, I've told the story before about that Welsh doctor that fingered me.
Oh,
Well, no. So what had happened is
not the door-to-door salesman.
yeah. Well, so when I was a kid, I got fingered in a kind of a weird way, and it may or may not have been a doctor.
Mm.
He called himself Dr. McLean. It's a confusing situation. I think now he wasn't a doctor.
I reckon he wasn't.
Yeah. But anyway,
He was selling, wasn't he selling
but
vacuum
it didn't
cleaners?
affect me emotionally because it wasn't until years later, like 2 decades later, I went, hang on a minute.
That wasn't a doctor.
So it didn't affect me emotionally. But then I told that story on the Matt and Jerry breakfast show when I used to do that, and then I went to the doctor, and when I had to get my first fingering, and when the doctor pulled his finger out, he goes, and I talked about the guy being called Dr. McLean, the guy that fingered me, but we think he was probably a brush salesman. Doesn't matter.
Brush salesman.
Yeah, and then when the doctor pulled his finger out, he whispered in my ear. He goes, "Was I as good as Dr. McLean?" And that's when I knew he was listening to the show.
Oh, yeah. But so if he's heard that story, he knows that there's that he was potentially not a doctor.
Yeah, it's a lot of medicine operates in a grey area.
Yeah.
You seem to be in the grey area as well with them, though. Hey,
But anyway, the pressure's on to get to the Agenda podcast, and I'm waiting in the doctor's clinic. Everyone's being picked before me. I'm waiting there for half an hour, and then it sort of descends into a fingering, and the pressure's on, and the clock's ticking.
You find out you've got a disease brewing in your ass that could end humanity.
Yeah, that's right. It's a petri dish that's creating just an evil civilization that'll eventually fly out of there and start killing people.
That's far more interesting than the Super Rugby teams that were just.
yeah. Hey, but speaking of rugby,
Could I just say about the Super Rugby team?
Yeah.
How did they make those announcements so quiet?
I know.
Well,
Like,
we're
how
talking-
could you couldn't make them less quiet if you put them in a bunker under the ground
That's 'cause
and
they-
had a complete media blackout?
they had nothing to say, though, because
Yeah.
the two biggest announcements were Adi Savia going to Moana.
Yeah, which everyone knew,
And James O'Connor going to the Crusaders.
which is quite interesting.
Yeah, interesting. But those two announcements were done months ago.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's why these ones are like,
Like, it doesn't even make them. It isn't even making the news.
No.
On just regulate the news broadcasts on radio. They're desperate for anything. They're desperate just to fill the slots.
They still don't give a shit.
They're not even bringing that up. So you gotta manufacture some drama or something.
Well, if there was a draft, you'd have McConey up there announcing with the first pick and the blah, blah, blah draft. Then you get to watch an 18-year-old fulfill his lifelong dream.
Yeah.
You see his family, his whole presentation, blah, blah, blah.
And then you get like a big rich team, taking a player that's been
Blues.
beloved in a small, in a smaller franchise. So the
Yeah.
smaller franchise is furious.
taking them out of Winton.
and the big franchise is hoop laughing it up, and you go, you rich bastards, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That we love in the. I mean, you look at the NFL draft. There's 110,000 people at the draft.
Yeah. Only 3 of them are going to have a career.
Well, on those drafts, even the NBA draft, cities in the US pitch to have the draft event at their city because it brings in hundreds of millions of dollars because fans come from everywhere to watch it.
Yeah.
And it's like bringing, it's like pitching for the Commonwealth Games. That's what they have in America, and and this year it's going to be in Philadelphia, and there's
I think it's the like communism versus capitalism. I don't necessarily want to get into that argument, but if it's all run by one body, then you can
have that cool stuff.
It's never that exciting. But if it's competing franchises and a draft, then it's each individual. Just look at the NRL and how much more hype there is because the franchises are actually legitimately competing with each other for players.
Yeah. And because the night itself, like you're saying, they compete for who gets to host it, and then they'll have like a club legend. So if there was a Super Rugby draft, you'd have Beaver there from the Chiefs. You'd have Tony Brown from the
Highlanders.
Landers.
Todd Blackadder from the Crusaders.
Yeah.
Terry Wright from the Blues.
Terry Wright. Did he ever play professional rugby, Terry Wright? I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
But
he would have got
snapped. He's in the vibe, the Auckland rugby vibe.
Christian Cullen, Tana Umaga.
Yeah. Spencer would have been great. He's through and through Auckland Blues, even though he's from Horowhenua.
Doug Howlett, I don't know.
Yeah.
And you'd have those guys there representing, and they go up and they make the announcement of the pick that they've made, And
then it starts off just in a hall with 20 tables.
Yeah, at the Ponsonby rugby clubs.
And then it grows and it grows and it grows and it becomes an important thing on the sporting calendar.
Yeah, 100%. I think and then if you've got a team, because like you look at the Highlanders team list, and I was sitting with Tony Lyle yesterday, he was looking at the Highlanders team list. He's a big Highlanders fan. He was like, geez, this is grim. And if you're a team like that, you could trade some picks away. Because you look at Harry Plummer sitting on the bench for the Blues.
Yeah.
And the Landers can't find a first five.
Well, that's the great thing about the bottom team getting the first pick.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just such a great method of giving someone an opportunity to get a superstar coming through.
Yeah, that's right.
But they will never do that.
No. I know. Well, hopefully the NRL get into the draft and that'll make Union jealous and then they'll follow suit.
Yeah. And more international players. If there was more money in there, but, Anton Dupont is just being announced, but being bought in by, the Crusaders or something.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be great. And they'd love it too, because overseas players love coming and playing a bit of Super Rugby.
Because it, lifts their game in the off-season kind of thing.
Yeah. The All Blacks, a bit of injury news for the All Blacks. Sam Cane has got his head split open.
Jesus,
it's like about 20 stitches in there. It's a massive gash. So he's out for the French game.
Yeah.
Which means apparently there's talk of Artie going back to 7.
Yeah.
The human skewer, Summer Penny Finau, the first 5 killer, going to blindside, and Side Titty to number 8.
Yeah. Oh, Side Titty.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the strangest comment came from the assistant coach. It's his name, it's Hansen. What's his name? Scott Hansen. Had this to say about Sam Cane.
Cane is a loss.
Sam's a quality leader. He's a great storyteller. You can see his performances for the All Blacks most recently. We'll miss Sam.
So can we go? He's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
So is he in the middle of a game? Is he telling a story? How is that relevant to a good player?
It's relevant for the court session after the game.
Totally. It's like he's a quality player. He's a great storyteller, and you've seen his performance. So it's like. He's just thrown in there. It's like saying he knows how to buff beers, and you've seen his performance lately is great. Oh, he's got a massive dong, and he's a great performer. Because it's such a weird thing to throw in there.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of massive dongs, what's the deal with Dog Roll? Is he not playing? He is playing.
I think he's playing.
He's playing.
Yeah.
Has he stepped down from captain or something?
No, he's not going to be the captain of the Crusaders.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
That was just driving through and heard a headline and put 3 and 3 together. Because I thought maybe they'd get him on blindside.
Yeah.
Because we've got a bit of lockage going on.
Yeah. Him, Tupovai, any of them could play. 6 doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's powerful if they started putting him on the side.
Yeah.
Of the scrum. You got Dog Roll. Thing is, I think it's Dog Roll. He gets in trouble when he's coming into rucks. You know what I mean? Like, first.
Yeah.
It's so great to have a captain who is always getting into trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. It's totally. And I loved it. And there was a bit of biffo on the weekend, and it was him that came in first with the and old referee's like, so show some leadership, and he goes, that was leadership. That's him coming in and going, don't fuck with my players.
I'm in there. I'm throwing bones.
Yeah, I'm throwing bones. If you touch my players, I'm throwing bones.
These are the repercussions for firing up. I thought it was funny when he was first named captain of the All Blacks, and then they named about 5 vice captains. It's like not a big vote of confidence in the decision making of Dog Roll. Which is quite funny. We are up against a bit of time pressure this morning, so we might have to knock this thing on the head there. But
we got some yours, pleases?
Well, we do, but
should we get to them tomorrow?
You might have to get to them tomorrow, yeah. I reckon
this fingering really fucked me.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, literally.
Quite literally.
Most of the agenda.
Do you want me to have a look as well, just to get a second opinion?
Well, yeah, I mean,
I don't use my hands, by the way. I use my other
I mean, how's your system running? Are you running a good operation? Before you have a look.
All right,
I run a
a
hands-free inspection.
We've lost our shape already. All right, let's knock this thing on the head. We'll be back tomorrow for another episode of The Agenda.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.